What is up, everybody? Today we are diving into a super sick episode with tons of knowledge shared. Working with the creator out of the Pacific Northwest, he's got a ton of knowledge. Let's see what he's got to say. Alrighty, so welcome back to the Unrecognized podcast. With me today, I have my friend Arthur. We have a kind of a crazy story. We just actually, basically, we're both creatives, obviously, and we're flying out of San Diego, I believe it was. What was it? To a connecting in Vegas or something?
Yeah. We were both because I was in San Diego for a wedding for one of my best
Right.
friends, and yeah, I think it was like August 2nd or something like that. We were flying back, and I had a connecting flight in Vegas,
Yeah.
so that's how we met.
Yeah. Pretty cool though. Like that's just obviously a good sign of like creatives. Like it's very, even talking to other people that I've talked to on this podcast and stuff, it's like it really is an industry where you just kind of have to make those connections, make the most out of them, and build off of them. So it's cool. We kind of kept a connection, and it's sweet. Now we're here.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
So yeah, my name's Arthur. I'm uh I'm out of Vancouver, Washington, which is like 10 minutes away from Portland, Oregon, which I mean is a pretty huge creative hub in America. It's like one of the biggest places where people go, same with LA and stuff.
For sure.
I was born in Vancouver. I'm from a Russian Ukrainian family. My mom's from Ukraine, my dad's from Kazakhstan. They both immigrated here after the Soviet Union collapsed. And so they just took the chance to come to America, the land of the free and land of the prosperous, and just, try to start lives here.
For sure.
Um, they met here and got married, and then I was born here. And I've just always lived in Vancouver my whole life, or in the areas or the little towns around it.
Mm-hmm.
So I never like really moved out of here. And so I just love this area. Living in the Pacific Northwest is just a nice, like amazing, beautiful place to be.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely cool. I have yet to get up to Washington or Oregon, honestly. I've been like as far as what was it? I think my farthest was a little bit north of San Francisco in California, but other than that, I haven't been anywhere north west of that. So,
I mean, I'm the opposite of you. Like I've been everywhere on the west side of America, pretty much up to
right.
the middle to like Colorado and stuff like that. And then
Yep.
everything after that, I haven't been anywhere east or like mid east.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. It's very you've never been to Florida or anything like that?
No, but I have a lot of friends and stuff that live there.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm planning on this year going to Florida.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's crazy, especially if you go in the summer, it's just two different it's crazy, dude. It's just really
Oh yeah. My friend, he just moved there. One of my best friends, he moved there a couple weeks ago,
yeah.
and like every day he's just posting like he's out doing stuff. Like they're able to like freely do stuff there, like
Yeah.
go eat or just
Right.
do activities and stuff. Like they're out in like golf courses at the ocean, swimming and all this stuff. Which is like, dang, that's the life right now.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely the West Coast has been pretty tight on the whole COVID thing. So
Yeah.
in that sense, and just the climate and everything is so different and crap like that. So are you how old are you again?
21.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm 19, so I'm about to turn 20. So are you going to school or anything like that, or just kind of working and doing your passion stuff?
Yeah, no. I never went through college or anything. In high school, there is like a program here called Running Star, and it's where the your junior and senior year you can start taking some college classes, and I did some of that. But after that, I never really extended anywhere after that or like continued because I was always working a lot full
Right.
time. I at one point I was working at a Boost Mobile, like a phone cellular
Yeah.
service company, at like their stores for a bit. Then after that, I was working at a debt collection agency for like 2 years, and that really strained like the life out of me. Like looking back, like I can't believe that I worked there for so long, because
Man.
like you'd like be calling people every day, like talking to them on the phone about like their debts or whatever, and letting them know about them,
Right.
and like a lot of the times it'd be people that are like in like not good situations financially as
Yeah.
is, and then like you're talking to them about these debts that they owe, and like they'd like curse you out and stuff like
Oh
that,
man.
and they'd be mad. And so it was really like straining job, like mentally. And
Yeah.
like end of the day, like you wouldn't want to talk to nobody or anything like that, because like
Right.
you just spent the whole day getting like yelled at pretty much. I
Yeah.
mean, not everyone, but I mean, it was like it was a lot to put up with.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
after that though, when was it? I think 2018 or 2019. I think it was in 2019. I actually was working for a bit at a media company.
Yeah.
This one guy in our area, he's has a lot of startups and stuff, and so he started up a media company, and I was working as a content manager. I
Yeah,
was like managing his like YouTube and stuff, making sure everything was outputted and stuff that was being posted for his Instagrams and stuff like that.
for sure.
And I worked there for I don't remember exactly, like 4 months or something, or 3 months. It's just because it was a startup. He like decided to like cut some of the finances, and
Right.
so my position was like thrown out the window,
Yeah.
and that was unfortunate. And then after that, I was working at this one company. It's called Zoom Info. It's like a data intelligence company. I was a
Yep.
research analyst, and
Nice.
so it's a company where they have a platform online where companies will like subscribe to it and to access it, and it pretty much holds like millions of companies' information, where it's like, for example, like Apple or whatever, and
Right.
it'll just hold all their information, like their structure of their CEO, and then all the head people in the company. It just lists them out like in a chart and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
a flow chart or whatever, however you would explain that.
Hmm.
And it's just like for marketing or research purposes, people would subscribe to that, or companies would like buy the data so they can use for like marketing campaigns and stuff like that to like be able to reach companies. And so it's actually a pretty big company, and I'm glad that I worked there for when I did. I
Yeah.
learned a lot there. It was a good place to work. They're growing a lot. With COVID, they had to, unfortunately, when COVID started back last year around April, they had to like do a lot of work from home,
Yeah.
and their like stock went down and stuff like that. And so they had to cut off a lot of people in the research department. And because I was newer, I was only working there for like 6 or 7 months at the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was one of the people that had to be let go.
Yeah.
um
Yeah, that's crazy, man. There's
yeah.
so many situations like that, but well, dang. Yeah, it sounds like you've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
21, it seems like you have a good amount of real life experience like in jobs and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And because of like the COVID thing, that's actually how I started working at where I am now, because now I work as a Amazon driver.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm actually enjoying it a lot. I've been here for almost 7 months or so, and
Sweet.
it's a pretty good place to work. And it gives me kind of flexibility as well to be creative, because with Amazon drivers, full time is only 4 days a week.
Right.
And unfortunately, with COVID and like the peak season of the holiday season,
Uh-huh.
I haven't been able to be as creative as I'd like, because I was taking on more hours and stuff like that,
Yeah.
just for the demand, because more people are at home as is because of COVID. Plus the holiday season, people are ordering and ordering.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been working quite a lot. I haven't been as creative as
Yeah.
I wanted to lately, but everything's slowing down. So I'm excited for spring to come and such, and have
Yeah,
lots
for
of
sure.
things planned, like hikes and stuff. But
Yeah.
to get to the creative side of how I started, back, man, when was this? Back in high school, I think it was my freshman year or so. I took a photography class because I thought it'd be interesting,
Yeah.
and it was pretty much a waste of time.
Really?
It was, I took it. It was interesting and stuff, but it didn't really awaken any passion in me for the creative field.
Yeah.
It wasn't until after where I ended up just like freely picking up the camera, and just with being with friends and stuff like that, or other creative friends that I have, just kind of actually gain a real passion for that. And a lot of that also stemmed from, because I was always interested in photography. It's just when it's being presented to you in school and the way it was taught, it didn't
Right.
really awaken anything like inside of me or a
Yeah, for
passion,
sure. Yep.
because I was interested in it, and that's why I took the class, because of my grandpa. I have a grandfather. He's very creatively driven.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the most creative people I've ever known, and so there's always been this creativity in my family from
Yeah.
him. He's an artist. Like he paints amazing pieces of art. He is like an amazing photographer and stuff. And I was growing up, I was always like looked up to him, like, dang, I would want to do that. Like, I'd want to be creative like him. I would want to paint and stuff like that. And so because of him, I've always had like creativity in me. Like, I used to draw a lot when I was younger growing up, and I'd paint and stuff. Even recently, I've done like some painting projects and stuff like that. So I've always had like creativity inside of me. It was just more of me trying to figure out how I can like awaken that passion and actually do something with it.
Yeah, definitely.
And so the past few years have been like a really big journey for me, like exploring that my creativity through photography.
Hmm.
And I believe like I've gone to like a point where it's like I love what I do. I love my style. I love everything that I do with photography, having clients and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a really awesome thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it looks like I'm just kind of looking at some of your Instagram things, and it looks like you definitely do have that. You do have a style. Like it's like what would you call it? It's kind of like a brighter,
Yeah, I love like it's definitely a very like bright kind of saturated look
right?
almost. I love bright colors,
Mm-hmm.
especially like my favorite color I would I would if I'd have to pick would be somewhere between like a orange coralish color.
Yeah.
And so through the photography you can see like I have a lot of like orange tones and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
light yellows or pinks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
um it kind of just like for me it's just kind of like brings out the life in an image.
Mm-hmm.
It just brings like emotion like of love and like life and just like excitement.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say orange before you
Yeah,
said it because it definitely trends, and that's cool. It's I think I talked to somebody else a while back, and it's like it really is like, everybody in the photography or video industry or even art, like as a whole, like it's a beautiful thing that it's fully self-driven, there's many, many people in it and a lot of people that want to do it. And that's awesome because if you're wired, you obviously should, if you get excited about something, you should do it. So
yeah, for
it's like,
sure.
it's really cool that it's such a self-driven thing because then your style is what's going to take you to, your maximum. So that's what's
Yeah,
cool about the
and
industry.
that's how you can like differentiate like real creatives and people that are just trying to make like a quick buck or trying to make money.
Right.
Like when I first started, like it wasn't for me like about trying to make money or get clients or whatever. It was just like I had visions in my head of things I want to try to create or do,
Right.
and I just did it. And for me, it was just so satisfying to like know that like, dang, I can like do this. Like I'm able with my vision and just with like my passion, be able to create like beautiful pieces of like art,
Right.
with the camera. Like it was just, it's an amazing, satisfying feeling to have.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So when you kind of got into photography, what were like kind of the hard things that came up with it? Would you say?
Um, well, yeah, when you first start any kind of thing that you're interested in, regardless of the topic, in this case,
Hmm.
photography, like being able to get to the point where you're proud of what you do and you know that you're good at what you do. Like
Hmm.
when you first start, it's just so much practice and practice and practice. It's just an insane amount. And
Yeah.
it's just like, when I first started, like I have other friends that are like amazing creatives and that
Yeah.
I consider to be like much better photographers than I am. And it's just when I first started, it's just like, dang, like I'm nothing compared to them. But it's like you get to a point where it's like over time, it's like you can compare yourself to them because you know
Yeah.
that your work speaks for itself at a point where it's like you have so much experience after so much practice. It's like you are at the point where like you can stand your ground kind of and like you're proud of your work. Dealing with that comes also like gear and stuff like that. Like creatives will always say that gear doesn't matter. It's all about what you can do with it, which is
Right.
very true. But when you're first starting and you kind of overwhelm yourself because you're trying to get to the point where you're like an amazing creative, but you're
Yep.
also stuck at the same time with like low end gear. And even
Right.
at this point, like my camera, I think you can buy for like $600. It's like
Yeah.
a Nikon D7200. It's
Yep.
not the best camera at all, but from my experience, I'm able now to use it to its fullest potential.
Right.
And I'm most likely going to be upgrading soon, just because I have some friends that have like have Canon like 5D Mark threes and stuff like
Yep.
that, And it's just like, for me, it's just like I can envision my creativity, like other stuff that I can do with it.
Yeah.
But it's just, when you're first starting off, you kind of, because you're not experienced yet, you feel like you're putting yourself in a hole
Uh-huh.
because you don't have the gear. But it's just like all about trying to get over that hump and just pushing through and just practice, 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 which
Yeah.
is like people will say about anything, but it's like, honestly, there's nothing much you can do, because if you don't love what you do, then no matter how
Exactly.
much you practice, it's not going to matter. So
Exactly.
you have to make sure that you actually have a passion for it. And if you have a passion for it, it won't really matter how long it takes, because the journey, you'll love the journey because you'll be learning every day.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I definitely think myself and many others would agree with that one. And it's funny when you talk about like using your yeah, kind of getting over that hump where you're like, "Oh, I don't have a $7,000 Sony Q7 or whatever they are." It's like
Yeah.
that's fine, but like yeah, like you said, I had this I don't know, it was like 5 to 600 bucks and just like a 1442 tiny little thing and it's like the little shrimp at the party, if I
Yeah.
like go to a photo shoot or something and bring it, it's like, it's just kind of the smallest little thing there. But then I like found features through just obviously doing it because it's fun. I found
Yeah.
features like, I set my settings a certain way and then I can get like these really cool, like blurry, weird looking, like a whole mood to the photos. And it's like,
Yeah.
that directly can't you couldn't YouTube probably a video on how to make the camera do that. You have to figure out your own styles and stuff. So it's awesome to, like you said, just create your own original like passion behind the stuff because then the clients and the success follows.
Yeah.
And like you said, the journey too is so that's such a good line. Like it's just you're never going to get sick of it because it's like your favorite thing to do. It's like who cares how long it takes.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
So
it may take a long time for you to get there, but you'll be like, you'll be glad of like the journey that you had, because the journey is like half of the process, it's just,
right.
it's such a satisfying thing to be part in the journey. And you look back, thinking back, like, wow, that whole time, like it was actually worth it. Like, along the way, I learned so much. I connected with so many people.
Yeah, for sure. So like sticking with photography, obviously now it's a little slow because of the you know quarantine and all this stuff. But like,
Yeah.
what are some of the best times you've seen with it? Like connections or like cool opportunities you've had with photography and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I did work for that one guy at his media company for a bit. Um, that had to do with like my photography, like I was experienced and stuff. So they saw that in me, and they
Yeah.
saw like my creative side. And so we were planning on doing a lot of like projects and stuff there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. But I've met a lot of friends and people through photography. Like I have like this one friend, Russ, where it's like he lives in the area, but it's like I never knew him and stuff like that until like our path like crossed through like creativity and stuff like that,
Right.
like word of mouth, like somebody would be like, yo, check this person out, like check this person out, check this
Mm-hmm.
person out. And it's like now like we're great friends and stuff like that. And we have plans on doing stuff and like working on projects and stuff. And I
For
have
sure.
other friends. It's like you meet people, and it's like if you're an open-minded and like kind person to others in the creative field, you have so many opportunities that can like be open to you, or doors. Because a lot of creatives, I mean, not a lot of creatives, but I know there's certain creatives where they'll stand their ground kind of, and like lock themselves away from like people because they feel
Right.
like it's competition, or there's like maybe they'll try to steal their style or their ideas or something like that,
Yeah.
which is understandable. There's obviously people like that,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, if you don't open yourself up to people, then you'll lose so many potential like open doors for like future stuff in the world.
Definitely.
Like it would be amazing for me to eventually one day like have my own like media company, or like work with brands and stuff like that,
Yeah.
if I get to the opportunity. But it's like, if I ever get to the opportunity, I'd want people to be around me that I know and I trust and I've worked with before, that I would want to like also invite into that work,
Right.
to be like, yo, like I have this idea, like let's start a media company or whatever. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, and and this way, you know, it's like people that you trust and that you've worked with, or people that work also stands for themselves because you've known them and you've worked with them, you've met them, like you've been following their work for a long time.
Right.
So
Yeah, I agree.
it's, yeah.
Super. It's like it's a crazy thing. It's like such a weird equation to like, what people determine successful. Like it's, is it cool to take a couple friends with you from the very beginning, or are you trying to get away from your old, high school same friends? Like, are you trying to get away and find your new creatives? But, then you have the risk of, oh, can I really trust these people? Or, it's crazy. It's just like a very, I mean, that's why I loved like talking to all different people. It's not only for me, but for other people to listen to. Like, people all have different views and different opinions, and it's cool to just learn and listen to as much as possible because you never know what you're going to take out and what you're going to apply to your own life and, benefit from. So it's super cool.
Exactly. And like you can learn so much just from talking with other people, just
Yeah.
like working with other people, like regardless of if even if you ever like even meet them or anything, just like you see like a creative in your area or something
Hmm.
like or that someone has like has a similar like following even to you,
Yep.
and it's just like you just start talking with them, asking them like how did they like build their following, like try to help each other and stuff like that. Like it's just
Exactly.
little things like that that can help each other so much, and then you build up great friendships and great opportunities along the way.
Definitely. Yeah. What would you say, like, have you had any like big features of your work, or kind of what would you say is your all-time like highest point of when you're like, this is just awesome, that my
um
photography got put here or something like that?
Yeah, I mean there's like I used to post, I don't do this as much anymore, but I used to post a lot of my photos on like free stock websites like Pexels or man, there's another one that I used to post on, I forgot it. But and on those websites I have like I think like around 50 million like views and like 40,000 like downloads of my images and stuff like that. And it
Yeah.
like will show you like some websites that it's featured on, but it's kind of like random like stuff on the internet. But
Right.
I have this one photo of a my friend's Infinity that he posted,
Yeah.
and I did it in an airfield with a plane like flying behind it, and I
Okay.
had that photo featured on Infinity Canada's web Instagram, which I mean they don't have that many followers. They only have like 16,000 followers, but still it's like it was pretty cool to like be like this is like an official Infinity account, and they
Right.
like reposted my photo.
Yeah.
So I mean that was pretty cool. I've had some other like smaller like features and stuff like that on like other pages on Instagram and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
another thing for me that I really love is like when I see people, or like once in a while somebody will send me like a thing of like the like, yo, I love what you posted on your story. Like once in a while, like I'll post like full images like just on the story, like
Yep.
for like wallpapers, whatever, and people will be like, yo, I'm using your image as a wallpaper.
Yeah.
Or like I'll have like friends like in the real world, like my own personal friends, and be like, yo dude, that photo is sick, can you send me that? I want that as my wallpaper. Like
Right.
that kind of stuff, like that stuff is like so meaningful because it's like the people like actually genuinely like enjoy your work, and like they love your work and they want to like express it, they want to show it off, they want to have it like in their lives, you know.
Right.
So it's like, and I have friends that like would like want to have like my certain photos like printed to have, you know, to have
Yeah.
like physical prints of like that kind of stuff is like, it's like it like pumps you up and it like keeps you going. It's like it feels like amazing when that kind of stuff happens.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And I see you have a website too. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'll
I do
check
have a
that out.
website. I don't have like it's more of like I guess of a gallery, like I'll slowly like adding more and more stuff, but I have like vehicle category, portraits and landscape stuff, and then each one you can click and you can go through the whole set of images.
Yeah.
Like recently I did a shoot with my friend David and his A7. Those photos are like some of my favorite car photos I've done recently.
Yeah.
It's just such a moody like fall tones in the dark, and it's like orange and blues and stuff like that. Those images were like amazing. I love those images. But
For
yeah,
sure.
I just it's like I have the website. I've had it for like a couple of years. I just recently started uploading stuff on it. Um, been trying to use it more and more. Hopefully soon, once stuff picks up again, after all this quarantine stuff,
Right.
I'll start trying to promote it more and push it more and start getting like pricing on there and stuff like that. But
Yeah, for
as
sure.
of right now, it's more of just like an online portfolio to have.
Yeah, for sure. It's sweet. Definitely go check that out. It's in his Instagram bio, and I'll put that at the end of this episode. Um,
Yeah, it's just my name, arthurogleznev.com.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm kind of in the process too because I've just realized how cool it is, you know. You get to really, yeah, for one, like you said, showcase your stuff, and then also like it's just a really professional way to have inquiries and stuff like that. So
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely like the website setup even versus like an Instagram, which is cool too, but you know what I mean? It's just a different professional
Yeah, with Instagram,
approach.
it's like you can do like the carousels and stuff like that, but the
Yeah.
images will never be full quality. Like it scales down to like 1080p or whatever on
Yeah,
Instagram. So with the website, I could have like near like original quality and stuff like that. So it's like nice to be able to open up each image and like actually see the full quality and size of them.
for sure. Yeah, what would you say? So, like, after talking about all this stuff, what would you say would be like some of the most important lessons you wish you would have known when you started?
A lot of, I guess, a big thing would be like organization. I personally have so much like unorganized clutter like through backlog of like photos and stuff like that I'm always going through trying to get organized.
Yeah.
um I wish earlier on I had more like hard drives and stuff like that because I feel like there's some photos that I had like from before when I first started that I would love to like look back at. I think I've like at this point probably lost them or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's like an organization is a huge thing. If you're going to be taking a lot of photos, you need places where you got to store all this because like it adds up so quickly. Like you'll go on a shoot and you'll go through an SD card like so fast and you're like
Yeah,
what just happened, like where did all that go through? And
definitely.
it's like it's so mind-boggling how much data like you go through and how much it just piles on. So the organization and like gear like in terms of storage is like a really important thing. um
Definitely.
I guess another thing would be um being too, I guess, careful with your work is another thing. Like a lot of times when I was first starting, I would be scared of like, oh man, this isn't good enough. Like I feel like you'd kind of like put yourself down, like I'm not good enough for this. I'm not good enough. Like there's people way better than me. And I wish I wouldn't have done that because if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't post a lot, if you like start feeling like discouraged to post, like your work is also going to be lackluster because of that.
Hmm.
You go on a shoot, you're gonna have in the back of your head like I don't know if I can do this, like am I
Right.
good enough to even do this shoot?
Hmm.
Am I gonna mess it up? Then you're gonna set yourself up for failure. You got to be like confident. Even if you're just starting off, you still got to be confident in your work. You got to be like, yo, I'm gonna get to the point where I'm gonna be so good. Like I know I can do this, like I've done my research, I've watched videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which goes into another thing, like do as much learning as you can, watch videos all the time. People people like Peter McKinnon, which everybody knows who he is at this
Hmm.
point. Like so much of his stuff I watched and it like helped me actually like in a day-to-day basis with shoots or like Photoshop or Lightroom. Like there's so many people that are putting out free content for us to just watch and learn from.
Right.
And like we need to use that to like the maximum potential. Like watch as much stuff as you can. Like I literally have like hundreds and hundreds of videos in like YouTube, like bookmarks or whatever,
Yep.
of just stuff that I go back to like constantly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how do I do this one thing again? Oh, I remember I have a video saved of this and I'll go back and find it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just like learn as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. I agree with that one for sure. It's even nice with you see like on TikTok and stuff. I don't know if you do it, but like these guys are posting 15-second videos and like of,
That's yeah,
the preset
yeah.
like
I
dials and stuff. It's crazy.
I've been thinking of actually starting to do that.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was, but somebody recently told me that like, yo, you should do this. Like your work's awesome. You
Hmm.
should like start making TikToks. And I was just
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? But like, what do you mean by like TikToks? Like what would I do as a photographer? And then they're like, like photographers will like make TikToks of like behind the scenes of
Yep.
like their work or on the shoot, or like they'll make TikToks of like their editing workflow, or like their dials and stuff like that, and Lightroom
Yep.
and stuff like that. So I'm like, interesting. So I started looking into it, and it's like in my area, there's not that much, but I know in LA and stuff like that, I saw there's a lot of creators that are doing that.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of thinking of possibly starting to do that.
Yeah.
um it'd be something fun to try out to see how that goes.
My past experience with it, just working with some people basically that were very big on it. I definitely recommend it just because of how, I mean, it's a very like not high risk, low risk, high reward type thing if it works. Usually,
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend spending, 2 hours editing a 30-second, even a minute TikTok, but I would recommend putting out, some good quality stuff that doesn't take a ton of thought, but it does, really represent something, because you have to adapt to the app. It's a very fast-paced thing, but I mean, there's people that are getting just massive traction off of it. There's these photographers that I've followed that are just, they were basically like us, where we just kind of, we do it, we have a couple clients, we love it, and then they started capitalizing on like their niche and really just diving in. And now, I mean, they're known by hundreds of thousands of people, and that's going to be their person when they need a tip or whatever, and that all equates to views and relationships that way as well. So definitely recommend that. It's a cool platform.
All right, yeah, right after this call I'm gonna go do a bunch of research into the TikTok photography game.
Yeah. But yeah, besides your TikTok now, what does the future look like for you, man?
I'm really excited for this summer.
Yeah.
This summer, like I'm planning on a lot of different like adventures and hikes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I also want to start, regardless of the TikTok videos, I do want to start maybe posting stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
I used to do YouTube when I was younger. I had like a gaming channel. I'd play like games and I'd post stuff. And
Right.
but I have like that's like a separate YouTube. I have my original, like with just my name, Arthur Ogleznev, that
Hmm.
like that corresponds with like my email, which has absolutely nothing on it. And I think it would be really fun and like interesting for me to kind of start making videos of maybe hikes or like shoots I go on behind the scenes, or regardless of what. Um, Maybe even have like, I don't know, like mini vlogs or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
just to have to kind of what, regardless of what happens with them, just to have like later in life to be able to look back and just to
Yeah.
see it, like to have like, because I already have that building up with my photos, but it would be really fun to be able to do that with videos also, and just start building up on that. And I don't know, I think that'd be like really fun to do. Just start YouTube and just have fun with it.
Right.
Another thing, I just want to start working with more people.
Yeah.
Like I have like a lot of friends or people that I've met where we've talked about doing stuff. And this year I really want to capitalize on that and just start expanding my reach with like different people that I've never like actually like met in person,
For
and
sure.
just start meeting up with people, start going doing stuff together, help people regardless of like what kind of a small or big shoe, or
Hmm.
what it may be, like some random thing like, yo, let's go to like the waterfront, let's go over here, let's go on this little trail or whatever. Just like expand and expand with your reach and the amount of people and like connections. And just I want to really try to do that as much as I can this year.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I think that's obviously, like we said, first thing was just like building on those connections, and anybody that comes across your path, kind of, making sure that you at least give it a shot and see what you guys can do together, because it's all about learning from each other too, not just the videos, as you know.
For sure.
So I'm looking forward to that too. I'm all about going to places that I've never been. I've been to, California and Florida like quite a few times. So I'm
Yeah.
really trying to get to, like, I really am inspired by Seattle.
Dude, for sure. I mean, maybe you'll make your way over here
Yeah,
regardless. I mean, Portland or Seattle. I mean, Seattle's only like 2 hours away from me.
yeah,
And Portland's like 10 minutes away from me, like right across the Columbia River. So,
exactly.
dude,
Yeah,
it'd
for
be
sure.
so dope for us to like connect again
Right.
and just to hang out again and just to work on stuff,
Yeah.
just go to Seattle or Portland or something, or
Yep.
on some hikes or the beach or something if you ever come visit.
Be sweet.
We just got to connect and just push out and create some dope content.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. Overall, I mean, definitely some seriously good information in here. Really just doing it for the passion, and
Exactly. Yeah,
letting the rest come. So, yeah, hopefully we can get something planned in the future and then
for sure.
see what kind of content we could come up with. But yeah, his name is obviously underscore Arthur on Instagram. I'll link it to the end of this and in the description of this episode. Super, super happy we got to talk.
For sure, dude.
Thanks for coming on. Again, huge shout out to Arthur. Check him out on Instagram. Also check Unrecognized out on Instagram at the __ unrecognized. Thanks for listening, everybody. Peace.